Today, we need to investigate something. Something I noticed a few days ago, and it's not getting any better. So now we gotta look into it and find out what's going on. You know, they just don't make Walmart bags like they used to. Well, that's new. The bottom of that hasn't been wet before. So here's what I noticed. The other day, I saw that there was water right there. And I just chalked it up as my boxes were wet when I was packing up, and that's just water from the boxes. But then I started to notice this wall right here. This wall is wet. There's water right there. So I opened it up, let it dry out, and today it was wet again. That tells me there's water where it's not supposed to be, and we gotta find out where it's coming from. I suspect it's something behind this wall, which is the backside of the wet bay. But you can see this water right here is not from the boxes, because when I press down, water comes out. That means there's water below my mats right here and enough water to start soaking up this carpet wall right here. So now we get to do RV stuff today. All right, to get access to the back of my wet bay, I have a panel I built that's removable, but we gotta get all the stuff out of this side of the basement first to get to it. I must have been in a hurry, didn't even roll that up. All right, now that everything's out of the way, you can clearly see the problem is much bigger than we thought. So right there is our water puddle. And right there is the wall I saw it. When you come around over here, this wall right here is wet, and this wall right here is wet, up to about right there. So this is the puddle, and there's nothing above the puddle that could leak. Likely, the water is coming from behind the wet bay. Let's take that wall down and see what's leaking. Look at that. That's not looking good. This has been leaking longer than I've known about, but this entire panel is completely soaked in water, about a third of the way up. Well, I thought because there was no water coming out the bottom of the RV, it couldn't be that big of a leak, but there is water everywhere back here. Look at that. This whole thing is covered in water. Also, I may not need parts for this. It looks like the ones that are leaking are these screw-on fittings that are probably just loose. So there's that one right there. And then the one above it is also leaking right there. That's a lot more water than I expected. All right, so the good news is it's mostly right here around the wet bay. Nothing really went that way. Bad news is all the water is this way and it's underneath these mats. Look how much is draining out of that panel right there as it's laying there. So all my carpet walls are wet, all my wood is wet, underneath these mats is also wet. And I tightened up those fittings and they just won't stop leaking. So we're probably gonna have to pull them off and replace them. That right there, the back side of that is where all of it's leaking. So as long as there's water pressure on from the spigot, it's leaking out of the hot and the cold water output from that connection. So this job turned into something so big, I had to get upper management out here to get approval because it's probably gonna involve a blue or green store visit today. And while we were talking, we have our entire front yard out here and it decides it wants to rain. Don't you know we already have enough water where it's not supposed to be in our lives today? I have upper management here. What do you think about our situation?
It looks a little more serious than what we originally thought.
Yeah, last night I said, hey, there's something tomorrow I'm gonna investigate. It's probably not a big deal, because if it was, it would be a big deal. Turns out it's kind of a big deal.
I just don't understand how there's no water leaking under the underbelly. Like, why hasn't there been a drip under the underbelly?
Well,
it's just all getting soaked up by the wood?
It's just getting soaked up by the wood and the carpet.
Oh my gosh.
And like I said, I didn't notice it until we got here, so maybe the whole last place it was probably doing it too, who knows?
Right. We definitely, I think, caught it at the right time, don't you think?
Well,
I mean, the right time would have been before it started leaking, but
yeah.
this is pretty bad.
All right, now that it's raining, we very inconveniently moved everything that's important to under the fifth wheel, because we need to work on getting this water situation taken care of, because we have a move day coming up. Tomorrow we're packing up to leave here, so we have to fix this today. By the way, blue store or green store is on the agenda today.
Yeah?
I have some parts, but with all this water, I feel like we have to go a little deeper before we fix it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do something about that wood.
Exactly, that wood is rotted out everywhere. I mean, it's not just one piece, it's like all the pieces.
Yeah. All the pieces.
RV, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I mean, it is fun, but come on.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
It sure is.
Well, we've had a water leak before and we have some spare parts, so let's see if we have what it takes to fix that without having to go to the store. We'll definitely need these, and one of these, and I have a second one. So it looks like we have everything we need to try to fix this leak. You know, I bet that leaks because they decided to put 47 T's on that one fitting. I know I keep saying one day I'm gonna fix this the right way. Again, today is not that day. That's probably gonna drain a lot of water. Let's be smart about this. Let's go use the low point drain. There, now we won't accidentally put any water in the basement where it's not supposed to be. This is awfully inconvenient. Why are you leaking? I only had to take 5 lines off to fix 2. Y'all could really do a better job of all of this right here. Like, it probably takes the same amount of time to do it right as it does to do it this way. But that's not good. So this is not ideal, but we gotta get it done. We got the 2 connections fixed and back together. Now let's go turn it on and find out if there's any more leaks. The bad thing is I only had 2 leaks to start with, but I disconnected 5 lines. So now there's potentially 5 leaks that are gonna happen when I turn the water on. All right, I don't hear water running, so at least we know it's not a big leak we have. Let's look and see if all of our small leaks are done. Well, guess what? Now we have leaks everywhere else on that line that has a T fitting because I was having to manhandle it to fix it. So now it's leaking here, here, here. But all the ones I replaced aren't leaking, but now we have 4 new leaks. So it looks like we're gonna have to go to the store, get parts, and go ahead and fix this entire line right here, because every time you mess with one of those T's, it makes them leak. We're back now to fix our leaks. Everything is put back together. Let's see if it's leaking now. Once again, no gushers. Now let's look for the drips. All right, we've had the water on for about 10 minutes now, and there are no new leaks. We had to rebuild all that with new stuff because when we fixed it the first time, I guess we were too rough, and then it started leaking at every one of those unions right there. And that's the problem with this PEX. You try to make a small repair and you end up causing more problems, because if you rough them at all, it causes the old fittings to start leaking. Like, if you ever get one of these to twist right there, that's gonna be the next leak point. And when you're trying to work in there, it's hard to keep from twisting those when you're trying to crimp in that tight space. We fixed the water leak, but this job is not done. Yeah, all water's fine, we're good to go, but there's a lot more damage here to make this right. So you see all of that wood right there? That right there tells me this has been wetter a lot longer than I've known about it. Plus you can see it's walking up that wall on the carpet. It's all the way over here on this carpet. There's been water underneath these mats. That means there's probably water below me. And below me is more wood. So I probably need to pull these mats up and probably gonna have to replace that wood below there. I built these walls when we first got it, so I'm gonna have to rip all this out and change all these walls. My carpet is wet, so I'm gonna get new carpet. And all this sounds like a job for when we get back home for the holidays. We have about 4 more weeks and we'll be there. And that seems like the perfect time to try to tackle this, because I can fix all this and I'll probably end up fixing all of that to make that way better than it is. So for right now, we're gonna dry all this up right here. We're gonna spray it down with some bleach and water mix to try to get rid of the mildew and the mold smell. I'm also gonna leave this panel right here loose so that at every move I can pull it back, check it real quick, and manage this problem until we get home and can fix it the right way. Because to fix it the right way, this is gonna be a project. All this has to come out, and we gotta go through and make sure everything's good to go before we put it back together. So that became a much bigger deal than I thought it was gonna be. I actually thought that was gonna take a very small part of my day and we were gonna go on an adventure this afternoon. Instead, we spent all day trying to fix a water leak in our basement. And we also found out it's been going on a lot longer than we thought, and it's a much bigger deal than we thought. So we're gonna have to wait till we get back to Texas. We're gonna fix all that the right way and make it good to go for next year. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today and helping me fix my water leak. We love you, and we'll see you in the next one.